Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video on my channel here. Now in today's video, guys, I'm going to be bringing you a really good defense you guys can use in Madden 21 to lock up your opponents, get more turnovers, etc, etc. Now, the play we're going to go over today is going to be out of the formation nickel 3-3-5, which I did go over in a video earlier, talking about it as a little bit of an audible defense, basically how to like take safeties, audible them, or substitute them in at the linebacker spots in 3-3-5 and then audible down to 3-3-5 wide. That way you get safeties at the outside linebacker positions as opposed to outside linebackers. And I went over that a little bit in that video, but today we are going to be talking about this defense as I kind of use nickel 3-3-5 as a fallback defense. If I see that 3-3-5 wide is not working, I'll usually move to a 3-3-5 defense. Usually don't have to do that much, but I'm going to be talking about this defense. It's going to be cover 2 man, and I'm going to be going over a couple different setups, a couple things you could do to truly lock up your opponents with this defense. Now, guys, I'm going to quickly rapid fire here my self-promotion stuff. Twitter, Discord. You have the Discord sign-up link, and they're all down in the description, as well as my two most recent videos are in the top right of the screen right now on the card. And then if you guys want to go and join the channel, $5 a month, you get access to full written out Madden guides, full early previews to my videos, and also shout-outs in my videos. Now, shout-outs today going to go to Nola, G, and Crystal. They bought my nickel 3-3-5 ebook. And then in the description, finally, is my website, redzonetips.ga, which if you go to the schemes tab on the site, it will bring you to my online store. 2 offense and 2 defensive ebooks on the store. But guys, without further ado though, let's go ahead. Let's move into the pre-play adjustments for this defense.
Yes, out of eyes trying to put me on a t-shirt. Shorty want me so bad, do your knees hurt? Yeah, I'm counting paper guap in my beamer.
Alright guys, so here we go. We're going to be talking about the pre-play adjustments for this defense. Now, out of this here, you want to make sure that you're coming out of 3-3-5, and you want to make sure that these 3 positions right here, this linebacker position, this linebacker, and this linebacker position, you all have safeties. Now, in the middle, you're going to have your user, so I have Jesse Bates because I'm using the Bengals. And then on the right side, in the left side, I have players that are either fast or can play good man coverage or can play zone coverage. So, Brandon Wilson is a very fast player, so he'll work here. And then Sean Williams, I think, can play pretty good zone coverage, so that's why I have him here. But basically here, you're going to come out in the play cover 2 man, and that's pretty much it. And you also want to make sure too that you have your best cornerbacks on the field. And then if you guys want as well, just go ahead and put your best defensive lineman in the defensive tackle and right end positions, because you're going to be using your left end for playing zone coverage. So technically you will be rushing 2 in some of these setups. But guys, that's it though. Without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's move into the first setup for this defense. Okay guys, so here we go. We are going to be running a pretty basic setup for this first defensive setup. Now, I am running out of nickel 3-3-5, or I'm running my offense out of gun bunch tight end. The play is peekaboo over. I just put my running back on an option route and delay faded my tight end. Now, what you're going to do for this defense, your first setup is you're going to first press your defense, which is going to be winding down the left stick. You see the cornerbacks are going to come down, and they're going to be closer up on the receivers trying to jam them. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to shadow defense over the top, which is going to be wide and up on the right stick. This is going to do a pretty good job in preventing us from getting beat over the top with like streak routes, over the top post routes. They're going to basically play better man coverage, and they're going to bail a lot easier as opposed to if they were not shaded over the top. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to blitz this middle player right here, our user, which is going to be A down the right stick. Basically, it's going to allow us to get more agility and cover more of the field. Then we're going to put this linebacker right here who's blitzing. We're going to put him in man coverage with the B receivers. So we're going to double tap the right D-pad, press X, flick the right stick up, and press B. Now he's playing in man coverage. But if you guys want to know too, I can adjust my zone drops. But if I were to adjust my zone drops, I'd have auto flip off. Auto alignment on base, ball under defense on play ball, option defense on conservative, and then flats on 5 yards, curl flats on 20 yards for my zone drops. But anyway, now we are this far in the setup, the last steps we're going to do is we're just going to pinch our defensive line and slant them outside, which is going to be left on the D-pad, down the left stick to pinch, and then left on the D-pad, up on the right stick to slant outside. So pretty much here, this is the defense. Very, very simple man coverage. Now, the thing that's really good about this is you could user your player. You're not leaving anybody uncovered, and you're also going to be having these 2 deep zones over the top that are going to do a pretty nice job of covering the left and right side of the field. God forbid one of your players gets beat in man coverage, they're going to have a better, basically the safeties are going to cover it better as opposed to having no safeties. Now, what you can also do as well is you could like throw this right side safety into an inside third, which is double tapping Y, pressing their icon, and then flicking the left stick to the left. Now we're not going to do that for this setup, but basically that will give you additional coverage over the middle, and it will do, it will basically do better against, like, for example, like this is a cover 2 man defense, so now you'll be covered over the middle. God forbid one of your players gets beat. So pretty much we're just going to hike this ball now. We're going to cover what we can, and you're going to see we're just going to go up and we're going to cover the wide receiver, and you see that we ended up getting the sack on Aaron Rodgers. The pressure came in pretty quickly because we were rushing about 3 guys, but we're going to take a look real quick at what happened. So we're going to see here, first of all, this B receiver, we ended up, you know, covering him pretty well. Then we went up to cover the wide receiver. Now, yes, the wide receiver was open about right here, but you're seeing that Aaron Rodgers is getting sacked pretty much right here. But right when the pressure is just about to hit him, you see that, yes, you could throw to this wide receiver, but the user's also right here, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have, you know, almost a hard time getting that ball off. Also, too, you look, this X receiver is absolutely blanketed. He has a man coverage on him, as well as 2 high safeties that are going to be trying to cover the best they can in the middle. So this was a pretty good coverage play. But now, guys, we're going to move on to the next setup out of this defense. Okay, guys, so here we go. This is the next setup. Now, all I did for the Gun Much tight end offense is I just blocked my running back and delay faded my tight end. But what we're going to do here is we're going to start the setup off the same as the previous. We're just going to press our defense, shade over the top, blitz our user, man the X receiver up on the B, or on the X linebacker up on the B receiver. But then we're going to pinch your defensive line, slant our defensive line outside. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take these 2 high safeties and we are going to throw them into curl flat zones. Now, this is really going to be depending actually on where you are at the field. So basically you could throw them into curl flat zones, which is double tapping Y, pressing their icons. So we're going to do LB, flick the left stick to the right is a curl flat, and then we're going to do the same thing with A. You're going to see now that they're in 2 curl flat zones, and then if you want, depending on the down and distance, you could shade underneath and over the top, which is Y down the right stick and then Y up on the right stick, and that's going to take the curl flats, it's going to turn them into cloud flats. So it's really sort of depending on where you are on the field. But if you're in a long yardage situation, you would want to use either this setup or the first setup. Now, this is going to grant you additional coverage on the sidelines, like for crossing routes. However, over the top, you still remain vulnerable. So kind of keep that in mind. But we are just going to run this play right here. You're going to see we're going to cover B, go back up to cover Y, and then you see the pressure still coming in. We're still rushing three people, and we were able to get that sack. Now, what you could do as well is you could just go and you could press, shade over the top, pinch defensive line, slant outside, blitz your user, put the X linebacker on the B receiver, and then you could pinch your defensive line, crash outside, and then you could throw one of the safeties into an inside third, and then you could throw the other safety into a curl flat. Now we're going to throw A into a curl flat and then LB into an inside third. Reason why we're going to do that is because we are going to basically coverage over the middle, but also I know that because I'm versing Gun Munch tight end, there was obviously the really good play known as Peekaboo over out of this offense. So pretty much I'm going to be able to lock this down. I'm going to be able to lock the sideline down, and also the middle is going to be covered. So we're just going to run the setup again. You see we're rushing about 3 people, and we're just going to come back up to cover the wide receiver. Now, the pressure didn't really get in that much this time. I'm just going to throw the ball randomly. You're going to see Devontae Adams makes the catch, and he's going to get tackled. But pretty much right there, we were able to basically blanket our opponent, and also the pass rush could come in free as well. Really a lot of variables going into it. But now, guys, we're going to move on to the third and final setup out of this defense. Okay, guys, so this is the last setup. Now, what we're going to do, we're just going to put our running back in an option and streak our tight end. So basically, everybody now is out in a route. We have 5 guys on offense that are out in a route. But what we're going to do, just press, shade over the top. You're going to pinch your defensive line, slant outside, or you could do like blitz and then blitz your user. And then this time, we're going to throw the X linebacker. We're going to put him into a curl flat, which is going to be double tapping the right D-pad, pressing X, and flicking the left stick to the right. We're going to put the A safety right here into an inside third. We're going to be putting the LB safety. We are going to throw him here into man coverage with the B receiver. And then we are going to put the A defensive lineman into a bluff blitz. Now, this is you can go ahead and do this, really depending on formation. But if you're like running an opposite formation, for example, you would run something like this: put the A safety into a curl flat, throw the LB safety into that inside third, and then you're going to man up the X receiver here with the B receiver. So pretty much you're running something similar to the last setup, but the main thing that we have to factor in here is that this player right here is in a 3-rec hook. Now a 3-rec is a very good zone in Madden 21. Basically, it's going to cover a lot of the stuff you're going to see over the field, such as post routes, slant routes, in routes. It's going to do a pretty good job of covering all of them right here, and it's sort of like having a second user on the field. So we're just going to run this play, and you're going to see here there's a lot of coverage over the field, and we were actually able to get in virtually free on this play. Now we're just waiting for the offensive lineman to get tackled, but basically right here we were able to get in very free, but we also had a lot of really good coverage on the field. So really the only difference between the second and the third setup is that we're throwing one of our safeties into a middle third and into an inside third zone, and we're throwing one of the defensive linemen into a bluff blitz. So basically right here, just gonna break it down, you're gonna see B receiver is completely covered. The man coverage is gonna cover him and also the running back. The Y receiver is gonna be covered as well. A receiver is covered, and then the X receiver is covered, and you're seeing here the pressure is getting in pretty quickly. Now yes, I was sort of vulnerable right there on the crossing route, but if you just go ahead and put your curl flats at 20 yards, you should be okay. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash a like, go smash 5 likes, and thank you guys so much for your support. Take care. Most importantly, stay classy.